The stress of managing Manchester United thus far would surely have made Erik Ten Hag go bald, if he wasn't already, of course. I mean, there's something in the air at Old Trafford. Rooney went bald not once but twice. It's a massive club that until recently had been living with a massive hole in their midfield when it comes to having a competent ball winner and organizer in the middle of the park. Well, United is no longer living with a hole in their head, so to speak, as they have broken up the iconic Kroos, Casemiro and Modric trio by signing Casemiro. Hey guys, I'm Adrian. You good? How did you sleep last night? If you're a United supporter, you aren't dreaming. You have indeed signed one of the best defensive midfielders in football. Is he a fix-all for United? Well, no spoilers. And as for Real, why would they let him go and break up that trio? Let's get into that, fellas, but remember, if you're new here and you're looking for regular football content, weekend recaps, player bios like the one we'll be releasing later this week, preview videos, deep dives, explainers, then why not subscribe? For free, by the way, for a limited time. Limited being forever. It's going to be weird not seeing Casemiro, Kroos and Modric be central to much of Real Madrid's success going forward now that the Brazilian has decided to leave. But considering how quickly negotiations went, clearly Real feel as though the future of their midfield has already been taken care of. With Camavinga arriving last summer and showing great signs that he can be an effective player at Real Madrid in the here and now, coupled with the signing of highly touted defensive midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni, it looks as though Real have cover for Casemiro and then some. Sure, Tchouameni needing time to adjust is absolutely to be expected. Just as Camavinga cannot be expected to fill Casemiro's boots either, but they also have other options if need be. Camavinga looks like a brilliant player, but you gotta expect some errors and hard times to come along the way with a player that's that young still. But as far as Ancelotti's concerned, Valverde could do a job there if absolutely needed. David Alaba has plenty of experience in the midfield, just as the incredibly dynamic Nacho. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he was given a route out in that position as well. He can play anywhere across the back line. Perhaps a couple of matches in the midfield would be an option later down the road should injuries strike. But again, it will be weird to see someone else playing alongside Kroos and Modric, as this trio has been winning trophies for Real Madrid for what feels like a lifetime at this point. As highlighted by Toni Kroos in saying his farewell to Casemiro, when that trio started in a cup final for Real Madrid, they never lost. Clearly, they're in good hands going forward. I mean, Luka Modric and the rest of the experienced personnel in the Real Madrid squad will provide some of the best models you could ever ask for a young professional. But it's fair to have a bit of hesitation if you are a Real Madrid supporter. And of course, it does raise the question of why would Casemiro want to leave the club that he has won 18 trophies at, including 5 Champions League titles, when they are looking poised to win even more silverware this season? Well, that's probably part of your answer right there. After winning literally everything at a club, leaving for a new challenge is totally legit, and in fact, I find it to be quite respectable when players do that. There is no right or wrong way of doing things, of course. Sticking around and being loyal is just as legit as seeking a new opportunity. Though saying it was for money, I mean, an increase in pay is always tempting, right? And a longer contract. I don't think that his salary will be doubled, as had been speculated, but he'll be up there with the likes of David De Gea on the pay rankings, behind Cristiano Ronaldo, of course. But as far as the new challenge aspect goes, this is attractive to players and managers alike. With a club like United, a massive club with a huge fan base that is going through a really difficult time right now, while plenty of players would say no to the club because of the disarray it seems to be in, and yes, I am talking about on the pitch and off of it with the Glazers' unrest, there are many other professionals like Casemiro and Ten Hag that believe that they can contribute to turning the club around. On top of that, and trust me, I'm not saying winning a trophy at United would mean more than what Casemiro has already won with Real Madrid. But sometimes winning a trophy with a club that has been down and out for so long, that hasn't won anything since 2017, that can almost feel being the key word there, can feel like a truly massive achievement versus winning another Copa del Rey or La Liga title. I think you'll never get sick of winning the Champions League. Being a key figure in the Man United turnaround, should that happen of course, will carry a lot of weight. And considering Casemiro's legendary status has already been cemented given the role he played in Real's most recent era of dominance, why not take a shot at United? Besides the very obvious benefits Casemiro brings on the pitch, one of the biggest things that United are in need of at the moment, leaders. Clearly, Maguire's leadership has been thrown into question time and time again. Ronaldo's presence at United is a massive question mark, as he is in and out of the side and wants to move elsewhere apparently. With Varane's arrival last summer, I got torched a little bit in saying that he isn't exactly the titan he used to be, and that he shines better as a player when he has someone like Sergio Ramos next to him to help cover his deficiencies and be the leader at the back. As things stand now, it's looking like the idea is to have Varane next to Martinez, and with Casemiro ahead of them, the organization of United's defense will be greatly boosted by Casemiro, a guy who is familiar with Varane already, as Casemiro sat in front of him time and time again at Real, and would often drop to split the two center-backs at Real Madrid. We'll be curious to see if that continues to happen at Manchester United for old time's sake between him and Varane, you know? But one thing is for certain, Casemiro will immediately be one of the leaders in the dressing room. Plus, with United finally addressing their defensive midfielder issue, this makes way for a guy like Fred to play in a more advanced role up the pitch if Ten Hag is so inclined, rather than the deeper role he has played alongside McTominay at United thus far. For Brazil, Fred plays more like an 8, while Casemiro takes up his customary anchor position. We'll see how Ten Hag constructs the midfield around him now, whether he tries to mimic the setup that brought the best out of Casemiro by having Bruno Fernandes and Eriksen play alongside him, perhaps get Donny in there. I mean, who knows really? But the main point now is that Ten Hag actually has someone he can build the midfield around, someone with pedigree that very few professionals can boast. And if the Martinez and Varane partnership clicks early with Casemiro in front of them, the defending will immediately be a massive improvement. He doesn't fix all of United's issues in the midfield, where ball progression has been noted as a major problem for United. I mean, McTominay and his inability to pass the ball forward, or anywhere really, was a part of that. You could assume that he'll be on the bench going forward. And it's not as if Casemiro makes line-breaking passes for fun. That was the job of Kroos and Modric. But with some solidity in there in the midfield, it will allow Ten Hag's other chosen midfielders to worry less about what they aren't good at, defending, and worry more about what they can provide going forward in the other direction. There will still be questions asked of David De Gea and how his inability to play with the ball at his feet affects their build-up from the back. Still questions to be asked of the right-back position, and a bit of uncertainty as to how Malacia will adapt and whether he will continue to put pressure on Shaw. By the way, speaking of David De Gea, questions to be asked of his shot-stopping ability as well at times. There will still be frustrations as to how United have conducted themselves in the market, again being very reactionary rather than proactive. Ten Hag said he wanted new players for preseason, and they largely failed him there. But when you sign someone like Casemiro, truly one of the best, if not the best in his position over the last few years, you can't complain about that signing in particular, right? How do you guys see all of this playing out? Do you think Casemiro is the player they have been missing all this time, as I believe, or should the focus have been elsewhere? Do let me know. I've really been enjoying reading your guys' take on things these days. Beyond that, I'm Adrian. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.